Alone in the dimly lit house, I felt a mixture of responsibility and unease. My neighbors had asked me to house sit while they were away, and the quiet little neighborhood seemed peaceful as dusk settled in. Little did I know that the night would take an unexpected turn. As I wandered through the rooms, the creaking of the floorboards echoed in the silence. The eerie atmosphere of the house made every sound seem more pronounced. I was in the middle of binging a show when all of a sudden I heard a noise, a fumbling at the back door. My heart quickened as I approached the noise. I saw something. It was a dark silhouette of a person trying to force their way in. Panic surged through me, but instinct kicked in, and I quickly ran to the safety of a nearby room. Fumbling for my phone, I dialed 911, my voice hushed as I explained the situation. The dispatcher assured me that help was on the way, but every second felt like an eternity. I peeked through the blinds, anxiety rising as I watched the intruder in their attempts to break into the house. Time seemed to stretch as I waited for the distant wail of sirens. The intruder made every attempt possible. The sounds grew louder and more aggressive. As the distant sound of approaching police cars approached, the noises abruptly stopped and sense of relief washed over me. When the officers arrived, their flashlights pierced through the darkness, revealing nothing but an empty backyard. The would-be intruder had vanished, leaving only lingering tension in the air. The police conducted a thorough search of the property, but there was still no sign of the mysterious figure. The officers reassured me, emphasizing the importance of reporting such incidents promptly. They commended my quick thinking and reminded me to remain vigilant. As they left, I couldn't shake the persistent unease that I felt when I first heard the noises. The night, once serene, now held an edge of uncomfortable anxiety. As the silence enveloped the neighborhood once again, I sat back down to continue watching my show. But I couldn't help to glance over my shoulder at the shadows and wonder if they were still close. Alone in my dorm room during spring break, the campus felt deserted. Most students had left for the break, but I stayed since my family lived abroad. As night fell, I settled into the solitude, the hallways silent and the campus barren except for a handful of students. Just as I was about to drift into sleep, a chilling scream pierced the silence. Startled, I jolted upright, my heart racing. My initial confusion gave way to concern, and I rushed to the window to see the source of the distressing sound. In the dim moonlight, I spotted a figure on the rooftop of a nearby building. They were going to jump. Panic surged as I watched them, frozen for a moment. Then in a split second, the figure leaped off of the building. My breath caught in my throat as I stared, horror-stricken. Frantically, I dialed emergency services, my trembling voice recounting the chilling event. Fear gripped me as I wondered about the person who had taken their life. I was compelled to see if I could offer help. I hastily threw on some clothes and rushed downstairs. Outside, the cool night air wrapped around me as I scanned the surroundings. To my bewilderment, there was no sign of the person who had jumped. Confused and unsettled, I retraced the steps back to the building where I had seen the figure. The area was eerily silent, devoid of any trace of a recent incident. I questioned myself, is this a nightmare or some twisted illusion? I approached the security desk, seeking answers. The guard on duty looked at me with a mix of concern and skepticism. No reports of an incident had come in, and the surveillance cameras showed no unusual activity. It was as if the scream and the ominous leap had never happened. Returning to my dorm, unease accompanied me. Was it a figment of my imagination or a bizarre occurrence that defied explanation? I laid back down. The weight of the inexplicable event lingered, casting a shadow over what should have been a peaceful spring break night in my empty dorm room.